Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Legaleaze, please. We are the space and the place where we decode, we demystify, and we deconstruct legal language. In short, we build you up by breaking it down. We break down the law, but we also break down any barrier, blockage, boundary, any system of oppression that prevents you from understanding the law with full knowledge, with full access, and with full comprehension. So I am so glad that you are here today. I announced earlier that Legalese Please for every Friday in September, except for the first one, we will be having what are called Freedom Fridays, where we will be talking about current events and talking also with legal professionals that are able to assist with our understanding of the law and understand and assist with things that can help us as a community, individually and collectively. And today is no exception. I am bringing with me, because I'm here, Natasha Robinson, see me. I am here with my friend, my sister in the law, my colleague, Attorney April Preyar. She is going to bless us today with her presence and sharing with us why she is here, what she's been up to, and how we can assist in making her vision become a reality for our community. So if you are here in the room, if you are watching live or you're watching later, please come into the comments and greet us both. Let us know that you are here, and then click like and share with those in your different communities. So we're saying hello to Facebook. We're saying hello to YouTube, and we are also saying hello to LinkedIn. We are glad you are here. Please click like and share. And without further ado, I am going to bring in my friend, my colleague, my sister in the law, Attorney April Preyar. Greetings to you.
Hello, counselor. Thank you so much for bringing me aboard. I am always bragging about you and the amazing work you do to demystify the law and how you out here just thinking outside the box and creating new things. So I am blessed and honored to share this platform with you.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, likewise, how I feel about you. Just a couple of background things for the studio audience who's not really in the studio is that we both started out together, literally started out together. We were sworn in the 1900s, y'all, in last millennium. Yes, we don't look like what we've been through, but we started out. We were licensed on November 4th, 1999. And then, if that was not enough of us getting to know each other, then we started with the law office of the Cook County Public Defender on the same day, March 13th, 2000. And since then, her life has taken off professionally and personally. Mine has taken off, and we have just continued to remain in contact with each other. So I'm going to see if I can go with your background from my memory. I know that you are from the south side of Chicago, born and raised, so the playground is where you spend most of your days. I also know that you attended Duke University for undergrad. You attended Washington University Law
George
School.
Washington.
George Washington Law School. Thank you. George Washington Law School. She had started with the Public Defender's Office here in Cook County in Chicago, and then went to found her own law firm. And then now she is just the founder, the creator, the visionary of Justus Junkie. She has created her own board game for young people that talks about how to stay out of the criminal legal system. What are the different things that you need to synthesize and know in your mind so that you know that you're not trying to catch the smoke, you're trying to stay out of it. And she is also just doing all of the things. And also, I'd say all the time, whenever I can, it probably gets on her nerve. I don't care. It's my platform. But I said the only reason why I am on Court TV today is because of this woman right here, because she is the one who said succinctly, I'm not going to say what I said, I will say what she said, which is, hey, you want to be on Court TV? That was it. That was the whole thing. And if nothing else, April is the embodiment of abundance in connection, in community, in resources where there is more than enough room for all of us to get in and do what we need to do because we have been called and created to do this work. So, without further ado, April, just tell us, in your own words, who you are, what you're doing, and then we'll just leave with, basically, it's just going to be a conversation where people are ear hustling, and then
Okay.
we will go.
But I think you said the key word called. So I was called to create this. And I always say that I'm fortunate because this feels like it's the culmination of everything I've done in my life. I've had nonprofits in the past. I've done all these various things. I did network marketing in the past. And I say all of those things prepared me for this moment to go in and best serve our youth. So that is the focus. So I do videos on my platform that break down criminal law for anybody. And it's on Facebook, so that's mostly for our peers. But my passion is going into the schools, into the churches, into the nonprofits to talk to teenagers to deter them from crime. Our kids are smarter than we ever give them credit for. I'm actually at an educational conference right now, but our kids are smarter than we ever give them credit for. But if we never give them the know-how and the tools to know what to do when they're in a group and the group goes astray, what to do if stopped by police, they're going to go back to their instincts, which is to freak out, to react, to run, to make terrible decisions because nobody's ever set them up. So like you said, my name is April Preyar. I've been practicing for just shy of 24 years. And I've been doing criminal defense the entire time. It was my passion. It was the only thing I liked in law school. The whole law school experience was 2 thumbs down, from my opinion, except for my classes on criminal law and criminal procedure. So when I graduated, that was the only thing I wanted to do. Being a public defender was my dream job until it wasn't. I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like having a boss. I don't like taking directions. So it was good when I parted ways from the office and went off into private practice. The funny thing is, here we are 23 plus years later, and I'm in a partnership with the Public Defender's Office, which I can talk about a little bit later. But everything I do is centered around, like I said, I'm at an educational conference, so I'm handing out these cards that succinctly tell people about my board game and then the curriculum that I built around the board game. So the board game teaches 7 rules of police encounters. I tell people essentially it is the guidelines to keep your kid from coming home in a body bag, to keep us from having the next George Floyd, the next Tamir Rice, the next, dot, dot, dot. We can fill in all the hashtags because these people's lives have been snuffed out. And I believe that even kids have more control in a police encounter than they ever would have believed that they had. And like I said, they're smart, they get it quickly. And so what I realized is I needed to supplement the game by then building an entire curriculum. And so then I'm going back to where Natasha was for a long time, which is in the schools, which is in the high schools, dealing with our teenagers. And I bring in other young attorneys with me. And we have a curriculum, but the bulk of what we do is role playing and tell war stories. And we tell war stories from court about people from the same communities that we're teaching in now, and kids simply get it. And they say, oh, that person made that mistake. I won't make that mistake. I might make different mistakes, but I'm not going to make that one. And it works. And the kids resonate with our message. They are exposed to Black attorneys, oftentimes in communities where they have never seen any attorney other than on TV. And now they have 3 Black attorneys standing before them, pouring into them and loving on them. And I'm just really passionate about it. So I'm at a conference right now down by McCormick Place here in Chicago, trying to woo different school districts. It's a school board members conference. And I'm here meeting school board members from around the country who are kind of at their wits' end about how to serve kids best. And here I come with a curriculum they've never heard of before, saying, hey, I've got some new ideas and I would love to come talk to your teens.
That is so important. We thank everybody for being here. Jackie, I hope I'm saying your name right. She gives you praises. She said, awesome attorney. So impressed with your passion to save the life of people, especially young people and their parents. You help everybody, every age. I say amen. Nashe to that. I want to lead in with my first question. which, by the way, if you're watching, she has no idea what I'm going to ask her. But you will also see the brilliance that is listening and then responding, which is what us lawyers do. My first question is: we come from a generation where we have been taught to have the utmost respect for our elders, for those who are in power, and for the police. And we are now bumping up against generations who are like, look, that's not going to be my testimony. So, what do you say to kind of bridge the gap between what has been taught and what is now being experienced in the world?
Well, I think that the way you bridge the gap is to tell kids why. So I always tell kids when I start off a session, I'll never tell you what to do without telling you why to do it. If they understand the why behind it, it's less about, I gotta respect this badge, or I gotta respect this guy, or I gotta respect this person because it's an elder. Instead, if I tell you why, hey, that cop is just as scared of you as you are of them. They want to make it home. You want to make it home. These are the steps to make it home. Then they say, oh, and then it becomes less about respect or disrespect or bucking up in situations or having a competition of a battle of wills with a cop. It becomes, oh, okay, this is what I need to do to be smart. All right, I got your badge number and I'm gonna see you in court. And that's the way I bridge it, because otherwise, if I tell you, you got to respect your elders, there's going to be immediate pushback, because this generation believes you got to earn their respect. You got to earn their trust. And so if I can't give them a reason that they should take certain steps, they won't do it. And so I always tell them, I always stand up and say, I'll never tell you to do anything without telling you the why first. And that's why I loop in stories, because I learned in network marketing, facts tell, stories sell. And so I use stories all the time to sell my point to these kids. I can rattle off statistics all day and they're going to look at me with their eyes glazed over. I can tell them, do this, don't do that, and they're going to get frustrated. But if I tell them stories of people who made different decisions than they did and it landed them in jail, then I seem to win them over.
I appreciate you saying it about the sharing of stories. We come from people that engage in oral and oral culture, what is shared verbally, and then what is heard. And so the sharing of stories often requires, I believe, transparency and vulnerability, being able to say, I haven't always looked like this. I have not always been in this position. And one of my mentors, who I know is also your mentor and one of your neighbors, Judge R. Eugene Pincham, who rests with the ancestors, would always say, you can't be what you ain't seen. And so, what is the testimony in having young people see you and seeing people that you bring in? I know, like Attorney Spite. How has that helped further cement, if you will, or put flesh on your vision for young people?
Well, I think, like I said, we are stepping into spaces where they don't see attorneys. They've never met attorneys. Some have, the only professionals they've met are the teachers or the principal in the school that they're in. And so, one, we come and expose them to something different. But two, clearly they see us walking in, especially Edward and me with our natural hair. They're like, wait, this dude got long locks and he's in a suit, or I'm there in a suit and I got a shut up lawyer up shirt on. Let me sit up so y'all can see it. A shut up lawyer shirt on. They're like, what is this? And then they hear how we speak. And then they immediately say we can trust them. So that's the first thing that happens, is that we bridge this gap, because they see that we trust them, that they can trust us. And then the next thing is they see that despite our stories, despite whatever we're doing, that we're there and that we love them. And so I think that love is really what we bring into these rooms. And the stories change every time we go. The format changes slightly every time we go, but the love remains. And I think that that's what kids really respond to, is like, man, this lawyer could be in court. This lawyer could be somewhere making money, but she's here with me and she's standing with me after class answering my question, or she's trying to put me in contact with resources because I'm in a jam. Like, wow, they care about us. And that's why I really like the longer curriculum, where we get to come back multiple times, as opposed to me seeing a child one time, because then I really get to build that rapport, and so do Edward, and so do Janice.
Yes, and Edward and Janice are part of your team with Justus Junkie.
Yes, so Edward Spates and Janice Graham, they're both criminal defense attorneys. Janice also does family law. She and I worked on a case before the pandemic, and she was just exceptional in how she built rapport with the client. How, like she says, we were joking about it yesterday. She's like, "Girl, I forgot you were in the room when I was talking to that boy." And so it's just like she just really built rapport with him, and he was like, "You remind me of my little auntie." And then with Edwards, I just really watched him on Facebook throughout the pandemic. And I saw that his passion extended beyond the courtroom. It extended beyond simply winning cases, that he prayed for his clients, that he stood up for his clients, that he would do different virtual events to tell people what the law was. And I was like, oh, yep, I got to recruit the two of them. And it's been absolutely kismet. It's been the perfect fit for the three of us to come together and to grow closer, and then to pour all that love into the kids that we serve.
I think that is just so wonderful, in that what I hear in you talking about with your colleagues, I hear partnership, I hear collaboration, I hear the I'm tipping now into my church language, where they would talk about the pulling down of strongholds, where you all are pulling down silos, rather silos of information, where we were taught in law school that in Latin and in this legal language that there is a hierarchy. Well, we know more than. And I think what you demonstrate is that it's not high, lofty language. It needs to come down so that people can not only learn it, but also teach it, so that we are not lulled into all of these, traps and systems and things like that. And I think that you working with Edward and Janice is just examples, and dare I say exhibits, that are evidence for people that may not feel like they know where to go or in whom to confide. Because talking about legal issues, that could be very scary, because you're telling a complete stranger sometimes everything that someone else said that you did wrong and what you need to do to fix it. So in your practice, I'm talking in the courtroom as well as outside, what is, I know it's hard to pick one, but what would be the number one thing that you would say to young people and their parents specifically, and people in general, about what they need to know to live in these spaces and places of today?
I'm gonna do the same thing I did. This is it. This is my motto, and that's
Shut
I
up,
always
lawyer
wear these
up.
shirts. Shut up, lawyer up. I wear these shirts wherever I go. I got them in. Janice was fussing at me because she only got it in black, and I got it in 7 different colors. And it's so important, because I'm like, if you don't remember anything else I say, you don't remember anything else from this workshop, you don't remember anything else from this experience, you will remember the words on the woman's shirt. I also have wristbands that I take with me when I go into these schools that say the same thing: shut up, lawyer up. Because the problem that, I'll say this, and I get into it with parents, oftentimes I have clients who would not be clients but for their mama, but for grandma, but for either auntie sending them off, giving them wrong information, or the mom who escalates the situation because she jumps in between her baby and the cops and things go left. And so I'm just like, look, how about this? How about everybody shuts up? How about you don't walk your baby into the police station because you saw him on TV and you identified him and you know he did something wrong, and you walk in there with no coverage? How about you be quiet? You get an attorney on the telephone, and then we make some plans. I will break it to most of you that most criminal defense attorneys, and I know my colleagues aren't going to like this, most criminal defense attorneys will do a free consultation with you on the phone. And so how about you do that, at least do that free consultation before you saunter your tail into a police station, not even knowing what you're setting your baby up for. So shut up, get a lawyer. And oftentimes, even if you're a witness to a crime, you still need a lawyer. So do that consultation, make some assessments, and then move. And then the other thing is, I mentioned I partner with the Public Defender's Office. As far as I know, we're the only county in the world where if you go to the police station, you're arrested, you can call an attorney to come represent you for free. And this is a unit in the Public Defender's Office. It's relatively new, about 3 years old. I partnered up with them last summer to do my workshops. And then this summer and moving forward, they're building a community center in the Roseland area. It will be the first of its kind in the state, the first of its kind in the region. And so if you have that resource, call the Public Defender's Office to come represent your child, your son, your daughter, because oftentimes it won't be the person who's in custody making the call. It will be the loved one making the call. And I can drop that number in the chat. I never remember it off the top of my head.
It's right there.
Oh, you have it. Okay, great. Yeah. So call that, memorize that, put it on your, whatever the screen share on your phone, share it with all your neighbors. If you ever see me, I always have wristbands with me, and I can give you wristbands. And I tell the kids and the parents to hold on to the wristband, because you never know when you will be the one to save your loved one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that number can be used 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, where you are able to call this number. And I know we live in an age where people don't memorize numbers anymore. They just be like, let me get on my phone. But what if your phone is taken into evidence? What if it loses power? What if it is damaged? What if you just don't have good reception? It still be able to use your mind so that you are able to memorize a few numbers and to say, I know if I'm ever in trouble, the lawyers at the law office for the Cook County Public Defender will provide, hear it, free legal representation while you are detained. That is so important, because sometimes what you say in everyday language, you don't realize it has a legal consequence. And so when we are raised in spaces and places where the truth is being endorsed, the truth will not set you free. It will actually land you deeper into custody. And so it's just good to exercise the rights that you have, which is the right to remain silent, which is to shut up, lawyer up, and be specific in what you say. It is not just, I don't want to talk to you all anymore. It is, I am demanding an attorney. I demand to speak to my attorney. I demand a phone call. I'm exercising my constitutional right to be quiet if you are a wordy person and you want to exercise your right to call an attorney. Okay. And keep saying that. Okay. Keep saying that. Because you never know when something that you say literally could be used against you in a court of law. Okay. So on this Freedom Friday, I want you to tell us, what is your and Justus Junkie's latest venture? What is it that you are working on? I'm going to put this website up here so that people can see it. And they can go in real time, people. So while you're watching, go to www.voteforjustus.com. It's going to continue to go across your screen while Attorney Preyar is talking. Go ahead.
So something else I am passionate about, in addition to the law, is entrepreneurship. And in case those who are watching don't know, Black women are the fastest growing. So Natasha and I and all of our comrades are the fastest growing demographic in the United States to open new businesses. We blow white men, white women, Asian men, etc. out the water. But get this, we are the least likely to receive any funding from a bank, from a venture capitalist. In fact, venture capitalist funds, we receive less than 1%. So I say all that to say most of us are bootstrapping our businesses. We are opening with no more support than our paychecks and maybe some friends and families funds at the beginning. With that being the case, that pretty much sums up my journey into entrepreneurship with my law firm, with my nonprofits, and now with Justus Junkie. And so I started seeking out funding from grants and other creative sources, and I literally stumbled upon a competition called the Southside Pitch Competition. It features businesses on the south side of Chicago, and it culminates in a Shark Tank, like the TV show, a Shark Tank style competition where you are on your feet, you got your slides behind you, you're explaining your business, you're crunching the numbers with a bunch of local experts, and they say yay or nay and choose you. But in order to get to that place, we're in the semifinals. So I wrote a little grant. I moved on, beat out 100 other businesses, and now we're in the semifinals against 23 other businesses. And one of the businesses will move on simply based on the popular vote. The others will be chosen by the panel. I don't know the panel. I'm not going to wait on 4, 5, 6, 10 people I've never met to choose me for anything, but I can get the popular vote. And so I am asking people to go to this, to vote for Justus. I spell it differently, Justus, because there is no justice, there's just us. Go to vote for the number 4 Justus.com, and all you're going to do is click like on our YouTube video. This costs you nothing but 10 seconds. It costs you no money. Nobody's going to ask you for any money. The money is coming from the pitch competition if we get there, and we're asking for your help to get there. We are currently in the lead, but we want to blow it out the water. We want to be so far in the lead that nobody can ever catch up to us, and that we will be guaranteed a spot in the finals so that we can continue the programming we do with youth, continue going into schools, and specifically continue to go into nonprofits who cannot afford our services, and use this money as like grant money to be able to still give them our services and still give them access.
That sounds absolutely amazing because to me, what I think of when you were talking is how we're using our money, our voice, and our power proactively, which is we're coming before someone has a criminal problem. We're coming before someone has to, fight for their lives or be part of a family where their loved one has to fight for their lives. That we're coming ahead of a system that you can enter into easily, but it is very, 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 very hard to get out of it and to get out of it, unscathed. And so, what Attorney April Preyar is asking us to do is to literally put our money where our mouth is. To understand that as we talk about Freedom Friday, understanding that freedom is not free, that we have a individual and collective responsibility to each other. You do not have to be my child in order for me to be invested in you. And so this is an opportunity for us to do something for free, which is to go on over to the other side of the internet, go to www.voteforjustus.com and just click like, just click the big thumb. That's it. Okay. If you want to take it further, then share it with your platforms. I always find it so interesting that we are quick to share a lie, but reluctant to share the truth. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that is just us being indoctrinated or socialization. I don't know where we get that from, but this is an opportunity to talk about something that is going to have a positive and indelible impact for lives that you may or may not ever meet. It doesn't matter. How many of us have benefited from things that people have created and they knew they would not live to see the efficacy or the effect that it has on us. And so we're paying it forward. We're making sure that people like April, like companies like Justus Junkie, we're making sure that we're getting the information out. This is what Legaleaze Please does too, is we're tearing away all of the barriers and the boundaries, making sure you don't have to go to law school in order to learn about law, making sure that you don't have to go into the criminal legal system to learn about the criminal legal system. We're doing it for free. Some of the time, let's be clear. Other times you got to pay a little pay by women. But for the most part, this is a free platform. We are passing on free information and we're just asking you to do the same. Okay? So take some time, go to that website. It will take you to a YouTube channel. Click like and also share. We need these votes to go up. You heard her say that there are 23 people. There is not a 23-way tie. There is only one. And we want to make sure that Justus Junkie and April Preyar are able to go on to the finals. So we know that you are a very, very busy person. And so we're going to end this live. Is there any closing thoughts or anything that you want to share with us before we leave?
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me on here, Natasha. And I would just say, as far as I know, we're the only two who have any type of platforms like this. So we need your support constantly in terms of watching our videos, sharing our content, sharing it with your kids, your peers. And when we do a paid event or a paid venture, to support us in that way too, so that we can be here to provide the free content. And so with that, you're right, I do have another podcast that I need to do, but I appreciate you so much for having me on, and happy Freedom Friday.
Yes, happy Freedom Friday. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. And that has been today's episode, if you will, of Freestyle Friday, of Freedom Friday. One of the things that I want you to think about as you move into your weekend is the following thought. How do you remain free in a world and society that seeks to keep you bound? How do you remain free in a world and a society that seeks to keep you bound? Or are you your own bound? Are you your own binds? What are you doing that needs to be released? What are you doing that needs to further free you? How can you remember to be free? What is it that you can do to help free someone else? So these are just some of the things that we talked about today in terms of support, in terms of conversation, in terms of learning. So we would just ask that whether you're watching live now or whether you're watching later, that you would go to that website, that you would click on like, and then that you would share it with a few of your friends. And also, if you want to share it, Legaleaze, please make sure that you come back on this side of the internet so that you will get more lessons, more learning, more content, and we will continue to engage in the process of liberation, one conversation at a time. Thank you so much. I want you to have a phenomenal weekend, and thank you for being here. Take care. Bye.